Hello, I'm Athena. Welcome back to the Quarantine podcast. This week's special guest is Kendall. Hi, Kendall.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Of course. How's your day going?
It's good. It's going good. Very good.
Nice. So, just to start off, I have two questions that I ask everyone on the podcast. What do you have any TV show or movie recommendations?
Ooh, so right now I'm watching Dear White People,
Hmm,
and I'm very addicted to it. It's really good. I like it a lot. It's an easy watch.
nice. I honestly have nothing else. Last week I did a solo episode, and I haven't watched anything this week.
Mm.
So, no, actually, I watched The Incredible Hulk, like a project kind of coming out with that. I'm watching the Marvel movies. Go check that out. I think Marvel and superhero movies can be kind of not like boy heavy, you know? I don't,
They're very masculinity heavy.
yes. Not necessarily all of them, but I feel like boys tend to like grab on a superhero movie more. I mean, I'm
Mm.
not trying to genderize this, but I'm just trying to watch movies and just see if I can be welcomed into the fandom of watching Marvel movies. You know?
Yeah. Um, I never really liked Marvel movies. Like, I don't know. I feel like I was like really a girly girl as a kid. And I mean, gosh, I know like
He's so
femininity is
old.
the spectrum and stuff, but like, oh god, I know. But I was like really like girly. I like to play with like Barbies and shit and like paint my.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't, but I wasn't really into superhero movies. I only like Spider-Man and Superman. I don't know
Mm,
why. Eh. But I'm starting to watch the Marvel movies. They're pretty decent. I mean, I watched the first two so far.
mm.
But yeah, I mean, there's 23, so I got a lot to go.
Yeah, there are a lot of Marvel movies. Like that's a really big franchise.
I know. I respect it. Oh my gosh. That's all I have to recommend this week. It's all I watched. So Kendall, what's your screen time like?
So I was actually talking to one of my friends about this today. She watched the Social Network, I think, on Netflix.
Yes, I love that movie. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, oh wait, no, it's like, oh
The
god,
Social Dilemma.
yeah, the Social Dilemma.
Yeah, I watched both. It's good.
And I know one of my friends like literally deleted like Twitter or something because of it. So I'm scared to watch it, but I'm trying to be more conscious of my screen time. And I feel like since everything is so like computer and screen heavy, going on my phone just doesn't hit. It just doesn't hit as good as it used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched the movie. I mean, you should definitely watch it. And it's a documentary, kind of. I don't know.
Mhm,
It's weird. It's like three different things going on at once.
mhm,
But people sometimes hate it because they like really use dramatic music to amp up the point that iPhones are addicting, and they are. And they're trying to make it serious, but it's not as serious as they make it out to seem like life or death. But it could be. So that's like I think their point. I really like the movie. I think I gave it 4 stars on Letterbox. I don't know. Follow me on Letterbox. But yeah, I liked it. I think it really made me think about social media at least for a week, and then now I'm back on it. But yeah, I try to like notice the tactics that they use to get you to keep being on your phone. Like TikTok kind of has like an endless stream of TikToks, You never like reach the end, you can keep scrolling and scrolling. That's
mhm,
designed that way to keep you on as long as possible.
mhm.
Yeah, so you should check it out. I mean, it's not that scary. Like they amp it up for sure.
Yeah, I feel like my apprehensions about watching stuff like that is just that they're so subjective. Like they're so biased, and it's like I don't know, maybe this one's different. Maybe they'll give both sides because I mean, we all use social media.
Yeah.
Everyone uses the internet in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it and let you know.
I find it kind of funny because the people who like made the algorithms and say, "Oh, we should not be on this app because I made it bad," are still on their phone. I find it quite funny because they're preaching about how bad social media is. Then the next shot is them on their phone. You're like, "Huh?" And I find that so funny. But yeah, I think the social dilemma got a lot of backlash, especially from like the YouTube and like kind of just the Gen Z community.
Mhm.
I think because it's like, wow, you boomers don't know what the heck. But this is the first time social media has ever like existed. like ever.
The whole span of human history. This is the first time. Like what, 15 years ago?
Yeah, like yeah, it's crazy. I have a supercomputer in my hand. Who 50 years ago wouldn't have been a thing.
What is this? What is
Dude, they
this?
would probably thrown it away. They're like, how do I? They probably like, just wouldn't know how to use it. It's crazy. Like,
Also, my language. I'm sorry for cussing.
no, it's all good. I do it a lot. I'm trying to not do it as much, but like, I don't know. Okay, the next thing, Kendall, we were just talking before recording this podcast. You drink coffee, a lot of coffee, right? Just tell me how much coffee you drink.
So I don't drink a lot of coffee. First and foremost,
Well,
okay.
okay.
I have like a cup a day. But I have espresso, which is a lot stronger than coffee, and I make it on my little stove, my little like cafe bustelo in there. It's so good. But yeah, I do like coffee, and I like how coffee makes me feel, and I like my personality with coffee.
I don't have coffee like ever. I mean, I only had it when we went to the studio. Oh, I'll get to the next topic, like how we know each other. But I've only had coffee on like Saturdays. But I would normally get the refresher. Sometimes a latte. I know, but sometimes a latte.
Oh yeah, lattes are good. Whatever.
Yeah, a iced latte.
Mm.
Yeah, but sometimes like you can't have like if I'm already like amped up, I don't need an extra boost. But if I'm dead, I need it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have read receipts on? Because we were talking about this before and like just our friend group kind of for, do you have read receipts on?
So
Sorry, I'm like calling you out, but like we talked about this like how many weeks ago was it now? I don't know.
yeah, I'm kind of like petty in like the way I'll have read receipts on for some people and not for other people. Like I don't know why I'm like this. Like if someone's pissing me off, then yeah, I'll have my read receipts on. Be like, yeah, I read it.
That's really funny.
I'll like turn them off if I don't want to respond and like I actually like the person. So
I always have mine on. I feel like some people take it as an insult, but like, what if you don't know if I've seen it, What if it's a really important question?
yeah. I feel like I like people that have their read receipts on more so than people that don't.
Thank you.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you guys are god tier. Like you guys like I don't know. I feel like taking a read personally, unless is kind of like stupid, unless you're
Yes.
asking a question.
Yeah, and it's been like an hour or so. Yeah.
I agree.
Like you're getting mad at a 4-letter word on a screen
I
that a
know.
person doesn't want to talk to you.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how much our generation like
Mhm.
internalizes like texting? Like,
I know, yeah, exactly.
like I don't know. I feel like texting has become our way of communication, especially in quarantine. So we overanalyze every little thing about what someone's texting us.
Yeah, because I feel like in person we try to overanalyze everything the person's saying.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of harder with text because you obviously can't see facial expressions. So you have to kind of just go based off of like their normal typing patterns and like the normal time of response. And you see like one difference, like, oh, they used a capital U there. Are they mad at me? Or like dumb stuff like that. And I feel like
Exactly.
people
Or
aren't
like,
thinking that much. When I'm texting, I'm not like, oh, I gotta make sure it's all lowercase. I feel psychos do that. No offense if you do it. The viewer. I don't know.
yeah. So I have a question for you about this.
Yeah.
Are you? I feel like this is a big debate, but
Mm-hmm.
are you a texter or are you a FaceTimer?
Ooh. It depends on who. It really depends. Okay, I'm gonna go through my FaceTime list because like okay, I normally FaceTime the same like 5 to 7 people.
Yeah.
Like either weekly or bi-weekly depending. I do have 3 people that I FaceTime probably like every other day at least,
Mhm.
just to like they're my rock usually. But I normally like texting, but if it's a long paragraph, if it's something I can't type in like, let's say 30 seconds, I'm FaceTiming them. Or I do voice memo, you know, like the thing you can press like record and be like, yo, you know, I started getting into that because
Right.
if it's a long story, I can't, and they can't FaceTime or like they can't call. I don't like calling, but I like seeing someone's face. But let's say like the internet connection's bad, I just send them a voice recording only to like 2, 3 people, like the same 2, 3 people. I
Mhm.
send those like long things where I'm like, hey, I did something dumb. Is this dumb? Then I explain the situation, and then and send like 2, 3 voice whatever they're called. They call voice memos.
Yeah, voice memos.
Yeah.
I love people that send voice memos. I think it's like, I don't know, I like hearing people's voices. Like I'm a FaceTimer definitely. And I
Mhm.
feel like hearing someone's voice and seeing someone's face like means so much to like I guess my extroverted self. I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah. Especially because texting is so like common. Like people text and drive. I mean, don't do it, but people do it. But like no one really FaceTimes and drive. It's not a thing. That's why I think texting is like more kind of universal, I think. Like I can't just pick up a ring I go through my contacts, pick a random person to FaceTime them. Chances are they're not gonna answer, and then they're gonna text me saying what. So it's good to like text them FaceTime question mark and then FaceTime them. I think that's good when you don't know the person as well. You know?
Mhm,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
But FaceTime's better, I think. Depends on like who, but usually it's like a
Yeah. I love FaceTime so much. Like I feel like I saw this thing on like Twitter and it was like guys like don't like to FaceTime and I was like, really? Like I feel like a lot of people like FaceTime, but I guess not. Like I don't know. I agree though. I FaceTime like the same couple people, but I FaceTime them like every day. So I'm
yeah.
like, hey.
And you get mad like when they don't answer, but then they answer your text and you're like, huh?
Oh, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I get so excited when someone answers my FaceTime.
Me too. It's like a different type of like, yay! Like texting, anyone can just do.
Exactly.
Like you're expecting a response like instantly, but a FaceTime you never know when like they're free, and it's so good when you catch them at the right moment. Even if they answer just being like, hey, I can't call right now, it's still like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you made an effort, you know?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
more like connecting.
Mm. Okay. Um, so you're a vegetarian right now, right?
Yes, I am vegetarian right now.
Okay. Um, what's so funny doing this podcast is that a bunch of people say the same type of stuff. And like they're all kind of connected. Some people say things that I've like heard before, and I'm like, wow, you guys would be good friends, at least on that topic. So Mike, you know Mike, he said that he hates vegetarians or something. So that's really funny. So
What?
if you would like to say it back to him, I forgot exactly what he says. I'm a bad host. I have a bad memory.
Feelings. I like Mike.
I know. Maybe don't tell him that you're a vegetarian. He had this whole thing that he wanted vegetarians to go away or something. But I want to become a vegetarian. I feel vegetarians are better people than everyone else. You know, so that's why I want to become a vegetarian.
I feel like a lot of I feel like more so vegans are more pretentious than vegetarians. Because like
Yeah,
vegetarians are kind of chill. Like even when I was like a meat eater, like vegetarians are more welcoming into the community than vegans were.
yeah,
And LA vegans,
yeah.
yeah, they're a little.
I feel like some vegans. I feel like vegans have a bad rap. I think like some of the people that like call themselves feminists that want all men to die, but like seriously, those give feminists a bad rap.
Mhm.
Who like think women are superior, like actually, and want to put down men. Those are giving feminists a bad rap, and same thing with those like outspoken vegans. Those giving vegans a bad rap. I feel like no feminist is gonna like key someone's car for like if they didn't do anything, and no real vegan is gonna force you into eating non-meat. They're just gonna like they're pacifists. I think honestly.
I agree, and I feel like that's so interesting about like those, like you were saying, like those feminists that want all men to die, like actually, and like hate men. I feel like the whole point of the movement is about equality. So it gives feminism as a whole a bad rep if we're hating on men. I hope that doesn't come
Yeah.
across like pick me energy.
Yeah. I think they overshot the ending, the landing at the end. That's a quote from, I forgot who. Gosh, I think it might have been Daniel Sloss. Maybe we'll get into him because he's a good guy. I think. Well, he's a good guy, but I think it was Daniel Sloss. That's what I'm unsure about. I don't know. I watch a bunch of comedy, and all these white men kind of seem the same at the end of the day. And it's bad for me to overgeneralize, but there's a bunch of white men in comedy if you're into comedy. Okay, so Kendall, how do we know each other? Who are you?
Oh gosh, well, we go to the same acting studio,
Mm-hmm.
and we've known each other. When did you come to the studio?
That's a good question. I think my junior year, I did like the 6-week class with Charlie.
Hmm.
Or I think it was a 5-week class, something like that. I think 5, 6 weeks.
Hmm.
And then like a couple months later, I think my senior year, yeah. So 2 years ago, 2, 3 years, 2.5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, because I came in the fall of my 8th grade year. And that was because I remember I was like 12 in that class.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. So that was like exactly 2 years ago.
I think
So I
we
guess
started at the same time. But like I remember you being like friends with Nora. So I'm gonna like mention specific people. So people that don't know us don't know who the names we're talking about. But I
Mhm.
remember you being friends with Nora and like them. And Peyton. I love Peyton. Peyton. Love her. We're not like that close. I only did one semester with her. But oh, I dropped something. But one time, like sometimes after shows and stuff, you just bond with people through the studio. Such a crazy way. So me and Peyton, I remember this specifically, very vividly. I remember. I don't think I remember the day, but I just remember like I came to her show, and she did the show. She did one of her scenes or whatever, and we were just hugging, and like we legit never really talked.
Aw.
Never really talked, and we are just hugging, and we were just like I don't know, like swaying back and forth for like a solid 10 minutes. And like we didn't really speak. It was really weird. We just had like a loving energy there.
I love that.
It's
I think
crazy.
that there's something so special about those small, intimate moments with like acquaintances or friends. Like they mean a lot. It's just that connection, and I feel like that's what we're missing in quarantine. You know?
Yeah, I know. Especially because like you can do group classes and stuff, like, especially in school and stuff. It's easy to be like kind of known, but it's not easy to like build friendships on Zoom because like you sit next to your classmate and you're like, hey, where are you going for lunch? And then you build friendship off of like you like the same chips or even you hate the same chips. You can still like build friends off of proximity. I think
Yeah.
that's crucial in school. And then like acting and wherever you go that has a specific location. Like who you sit with kind of determines who you're friends with in the beginning.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And
Bless you. My mom just sneezed. I'm not sure
was
if you heard it.
I feel like in a more structured environment like school, for example, it's harder to make friends on Zoom more so than acting. Because like
Yes.
I've like private messaged new people in acting and been like, hey, like, can I have your Instagram or something? Like you're so good, or
Yeah.
like you can't private message people in my school Zooms.
Mm.
So it's just like, but I want to be friends with them. But it's weird if you message everyone like, hey, so and so, what's your Instagram?
No, yeah, I get that. Yeah, also in acting, I think you're supposed to be networking, but in school, we don't really think of it as networking. And just to kind of not brag or anything, but I attend a bunch of workshops and stuff, and I'm learning the whole point is doing school is networking. Like,
Hmm.
like what? Because I'm in college now, but I think it's also important in high school. Let's say in high school you're like a mediocre kid, and you have like some friends here and there. But like, let's say like a classmate of yours gets like does your dream job, and you reach out to them being like, hey, what's up? They'll remember you as like either not reaching out to them or whatever. Like kind of like what your reputation was at school will stick with you, like maybe for the next 5 to 10 years at least after you graduate. Like you have to be like a good good role model to yourself and your peers and even to your teachers as well, because they can get you jobs. Maybe not high school teachers
Yeah.
necessarily,
Um,
but yeah.
yeah, reputation means so much in school. Like, I feel like your reputation, especially in high school, is everything, which is kind of superficial.
Yeah.
Like, is that really how we feel in high school? Like, just how people see us?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I feel like with that type of high school reputation, it depends on like who you hang out with, not really who you are. You know, you're kind of just
Mm-hmm.
in it for like the clout. But I think the reputation I'm trying to say is like your
Up a
work
little bit.
ethic. Yeah, I know, sorry. I think the reputation I'm trying to talk about is like your work ethic. But like yeah, in high school it's all about who you hang out with.
Your work.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just important in college to keep in mind that
Definitely.
like you have to like you're networking yourself always. Always kind of a chance to like promote yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you have to be a, you have to
Mm-hmm.
be good at selling yourself, at least as like a partner in a project or like an Instagram follow. I mean, that's like maybe not as much, just building connections and stuff. But yeah, you don't want to be like, hey, I'm never gonna show up again. Can I have your number? Like
Yeah.
no one's ever straight up with their like, hey, this is the first day of class. I'm never gonna show up again, but can I get your number? Because every time I don't show up, I'll be asking you for the homework. No one's ever straight up, but if like I know that about you after that. I'm not gonna be asking you when I have an open job, being like, hey, this person wanted me to send them the homework every day. I'm not gonna pick them to get hired, you know? Oh, sorry, I went on a rant.
Yeah, and I feel like that's also a part of. I know, no, but I actually I think what you said was interesting because I feel like first impressions are so important, just like reputation. But like you were saying, if someone, I feel like I'd have more respect for someone that was straight up with me and was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna be asking you for the homework for the whole semester," more so than someone who was just like being fake friends with me just to get the homework. Like,
Yeah.
be straight up, you know?
Mm-hmm. I feel like first impressions on Zoom aren't that important anymore. I mean, okay, so I go to a bunch of these workshops type stuff, and people from the industry, it's with professors in college, and they work in the industry. They live a double life. I commend all professors, but they normally be like, "Hey, here's my email. Reach out to me if you can." And I was at a workshop where someone gave it and was also saying like, "Hey, no one ever respond. No one ever the email that they give you 9 out of 10 people don't respond to it. They're gonna care. They don't care about like, oh, you asked a nice question at this workshop. They're not gonna care about that. They're gonna care that you took the time to reach out to them after you've already had a first impression. And especially with Zoom and stuff, to turn your freaking face cams on, man. Like your professors will get you jobs. Your professor's not gonna remember your email name. You're one of like 400 students that they have, and you got to turn on your face and ask questions. I know I'm like kind of preaching to the choir here because I sometimes don't ask questions because I honestly have no idea what the heck is going on, and it's taking me a lot of time to process because I have 8 a.m.s, which is like good for me to be up, but bad for my mental capacity because he's like, any questions? And I'm like, no, I think I got it, but I don't truly know. So I have like a question at the end, and I'm like it probably already got answered because I took a bunch of notes, but I just didn't look back through it. So that's why I never really asked questions.
Yeah, but I feel like what you were saying about just turning on your camera and just like being a friendly face is so important because I honestly feel so bad for like my teachers. Like, it's not that hard to just turn on your camera. Like, at this point, no one really cares.
Yeah,
But
no
like,
one's looking at you. And there's a thing called hide
well,
self view.
oh yeah.
Turn on that or just put something over it. Like in person, I think if you try to make it this the best you can, and that wording was off. Try to make it like as it would be in person. You wouldn't be like putting a box over your face. You would just be there. So
It would just
be
be
there.
present, right? Like, be with the class. Like,
Yeah, there's so many times where like my professor is like, "Hey, Jordan, what's the answer?" And they don't say anything. And he's like, "Oh," like you can see like sadness dripping over him. Like he was just lecturing for an hour, and he asked like a random person who he thought was hoping to like learn, and they're not there. They're probably just in bed, or they walked away from their computer, not even listening, probably on their phone. I mean, I'm on my phone. I try not to be.
I know it's
But yeah,
hard.
it's really hard.
You don't know what's happening, and like, oh, just leave it.
Mm. Yeah. I know I'm just gonna try to leave my phone at the other side of the room on my Zoom meetings, but sometimes it's hard. I'm getting a bunch of text messages, and I'm like, oh my god, stop. I
Yeah,
have a
I
bunch.
always have my phone, and like, just here's my friend text me like, oh, how are you doing? Or like, if I have another Zoom after, I'm like, okay, what time did it start? Let me check my phone.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we do acting together. He, so you were 12 when you joined. I really thought of you like you were much older. So how old are you now? I mean, people could do
So
the math, but
right now I'm 14. I'll be 15 in like 2 weeks. So I just tell everyone I'm 15. Like I'm literally about to be 15.
okay. I want the people that are watching this. You don't look 15.
Yeah.
I thought you were much older. I really thought that you were only like a year or two younger than me when I
Mhm.
first met you, especially because you were young in the teen class. So I was like, oh, she's like old, like older. It's crazy, Kendall. I still can't get over that you're 14 right now.
Yeah, I get that a lot actually. And um sometimes it does bother me when people are like, oh, I thought you were so much older. 'Cause I feel like also I got that as a kid, and I feel like part of what comes with that is like over sexualization. I'm like, I'm a child. And I feel like a lot of Black girls go through that where we're told we look so much older or act so much older. And I don't know, I feel like part of it is because we're forced to mature younger, and also that our bodies are sexualized.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't really like care. Like I like it's just like when like creepy men say it. It's like
Yeah, but I have a young face though, so I'm really, I was just, everyone's not like you think you project something onto people when you first meet them, and most of the time it's 100% wrong. So I just thought you were much older when I first met you. Then you know who there's a bunch of people that like I get the ages wrong. Thank God not the names, but the age is wrong at least.
yeah.
So yeah. So we did Doomed on Zoom together.
Mhm.
So that will be in the description if you want it to be. Do you want it to be in the description? Just tell me about that process.
Okay. So Zoom on Zoom was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So also I was very busy at the time. I was taking this algebra. I was taking Math 25 or algebra at like my local community college, and my professor was absolute shit. So I was dealing with that, and I barely passed.
Mm.
And summer was stressful, but doomed on Zoom overall was a fun experience. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, I feel like I became a lot closer friends with people that I wouldn't have had the chance to.
Yeah.
It's kind of a learning experience, especially with like kind of just collaborative projects.
hmm
It
It was
really,
like, yeah, I met a lot of new people in that class, and I'm like closer to a lot of people because of doomed on Zoom.
yeah, I think it's great. So, do you want it to be linked in the description?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, okay. Check it
Everyone
out if you want. We also had two other people who did Doomed on Zoom on here, Jackie and Alex. Go check out their podcast episode. Okay. So you do acting. How long have you been doing acting? Only the first 2 years? Only 2 years ago?
No, I've done acting for a while actually, because I did like local stuff. I was in like shit like Annie, like just the basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I played Pepper in Annie. Like that was my biggest accomplishment. That was really fun. I did like small stuff like Lion King and like local. But I started doing acting classes, like technical acting classes in 8th grade. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So That's cool that you did like theater more so when you were younger, and now you're in like acting classes. So do you want to be an actor when you're older,
Yes, yes,
like professionally?
yes. I do want to be a professional actor. That's
Cool.
the goal.
Nice. I mean, you're really good, Kendall. So I'm
Thank
really
you.
excited to see where you go. Like, what,
Yay.
what what would you want to be, like stage or screen, or maybe both? Or
I would say both. Recently, I've been into film more so because I feel like the acting is a lot more intimate, which I enjoy not having to project and worry about being big enough for the audience to see me. But I feel like film is so technical that it picks up on everything. So,
yeah, I agree. Plus, like stage isn't happening for a while, sadly.
unfortunately, Athena, what's your goal though? What do you want to do?
Oh my gosh, I have like too many, but I think kind of the more realistic stuff, because I mean, you obviously tell yourself that like, oh my gosh, I can be an astronaut and reinvent the wheel at the same time.
Mhm.
Or at least I tell myself that. But I think realistically, probably, I mean, I'm kind of just focusing on YouTube per se, like right now, because quarantine and like what else am I supposed to do?
Mhm.
Like if this wasn't quarantine, I would probably be spending half my day walking to meetings. That was normally my day, is just walking, walking. Now I'm just sitting, and I have a lot more time. But I am studying screenwriting because I honestly feel that as a writer, as an artist, you will be living a really frugal life unless you make it big. You don't have that much money, a lot, like a bunch of stops and starts. So I really think film is great. Like you can really sell a good pilot or a good like movie and then kind of be set for a couple months. But I really, there's a quote, and let me pull it up. Sorry, real quick. But I
No
really
problem.
like film and theater. It's in my bio. On my private account. But okay, I'm married to the theater, but my mistress is the films. Because I really love theater. I kind of fell in love with theater before I fell in love with films. I I think books, I think, is like first thing everyone kind of falls in love with because it takes you somewhere, and you kind of like once you finish reading a book or like seeing a movie or watching a play or anything, you kind of live vicariously through that movie or whatever for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really like movies, but I never thought I could do it because I thought like, wow, that's a cool hobby to have, but never thought of it as my job
Mhm.
really until June. I got into theater my sophomore year, but I wanted to be a writer my junior year because I fell in love with theater. And from theater, I started discovering more art forms that like theater is a job. Like, people think art isn't a real job, but like it is. I met people that like make it like that's their career, and I really respected that because I think everyone, or at least I kind of grew up saying that like that isn't necessarily a job per se. It's more of a side hobby that you can make. It's like a side hustle that you can make money from. You're gonna always have a plan B because the plan A might not work out.
Yeah, and I think that's so interesting. I think that in American culture, just the fact that art is not taken seriously at all, and I feel like it means so much and it takes so much, like, for lack of a better word, balls to pursue an art form. Just knowing that there's so much external backlash from that. Like, yeah, be an artist if you want to be. I feel like it's a realistic job to have.
Yeah, I think so many people are discouraged from that because they think they're not gonna make it. Like they're afraid to get in the car before they even push the gas.
Exactly.
But like honestly, if you do fail, you'll be okay.
Mm.
Hopefully. I don't know. I mean, obviously everyone's different. And I mean,
Have a
that's
plan B now, but
what? Sorry.
it is important to have a plan B, but that shouldn't go to your plan B too soon.
Yeah, before
Like
you even
wait
try.
for yourself. Be patient.
Yeah, I think like I don't know, I kind of gave myself like till 25, no, till 20 to make something happen. And then I was like 20 because I was like 15, 16. I was like 20 so far away. I'm turning 19 in 5 days, and I've pushed it back to 25 to then now 30 if I don't see like my plan A happening. So plan B is honestly being a professor because if I can't do what I love, I can teach it and help other people, inspire other people to do it. You know,
Mm.
kind of want to do both, be like a screenwriter and a
So,
professor. I feel like also the time and energy. I like professors that are like in the industry and they also like, yeah, I can make a ridiculous meeting time for like 3 hours if you want. I was on a Zoom call with my professor for like 2 hours, and he's like a big deal cinematographer. I mean, he's not doing anything now, but I
Mm.
still feel like he would have taken the time for me even if he was like doing something important. You
It's a
kind of got to
good
put
feeling.
you got to put the students first, and that's crazy. Because I mean, being a professor doesn't pay that well, but being a cinematographer for a big movie probably pays a lot more.
A lot more. Like you're thinking like a movie brings in like millions of dollars, like we're gonna get paid a little bit of change, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think kind of going back to your original question, I kind of steered off.
Okay.
I think writing for me, I think everyone who wants to be in the industry needs like a ticket in. You need to find your golden ticket. And some people it's just luck. Other people it's really hard work and kind of just squeezing your way in. I think
Mhm.
for me, writing, I have a lot of ideas. And I don't necessarily think it could be like the only thing I stick to. It's just something that I think is really hard. And I think as a writer and director and actor, the three things that kind of everyone wants to be, or at least like they think they want to be,
Mhm.
or I think those are like the main three.
Mhm.
Um, you kind of need to know how people work, and writing and acting, and especially in directing, all three, obviously, you kind of see different ways of humans. I think, like writing, you kind of listen to people when you call out like certain relationships, and acting, you also like it's three different sides of the same coin, though I think. And I think writing is really important because if you can't, I think anyone can be a writer. You can have a pen and be a writer. Acting, I think the kind of the similar, but I think you kind of need to get jobs to be considered a real actor. Same
Yeah.
thing with directing. I can't be like, hey, I'm a director. Well, what have you directed? Nothing. You gotta like have something on your resume. And with
Mhm.
writing, it's all up to you. You don't need a group of people standing around there waiting for you. I mean, think with acting and directing now, you just need a couple friends and you can make that happen with the power of the internet. But I think with writing, it's really just up to you. You don't need to like,
So much more like self-reliant. Like acting is like, oh, I need to book this job. Oh, directing, oh, I need to hire actors. Like writing, it's like you can just get your computer and write. Like
yeah.
thing is, taking it from a piece of paper to a stage or a screen.
Mm-hmm. That's really tough. I know. I mean, but I think writing, you can always show people that. I think with acting, when you're starting from nothing, it's hard to be like, hey, I'm a good actor. There's like probably thousands of people managers get like email from being like, I'm an actor, and they haven't been in anything. But it's hard to book a job because you have to be in something first. It's like you have to really heavily rely on someone giving you a chance, and you not messing it up.
And you really have to have that. You just have to have like the it factor. You have to have it because these managers, these agents, they're taking so much chance on you if you haven't done anything just by the way you act. Like they're seeing your demo reel. If they like it, they want to hire you. They're taking a big chance. So it's like
Yeah.
a lot of pressure.
Same thing with like acting and stuff. I mean, I think you can kind of maybe book a good manager if you take an acting class, but that yet again is time, money, energy. With writing, I mean, I think it's not necessarily money. You don't need it to succeed. Google Docs is free. You know, time, write at night if you don't know what to do. Energy, coffee. I think I heard coffee works for Kendall, so try that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of want to my plan is to just probably start off writing, see where that goes. I kind of just want to write and make films, and then when that's not happening, direct theater or be on stage, depending if I want to work, if I think my acting chops are good enough for it. But kind of be behind the screen, behind the stage, but also could be in front of the screen. I mean, on the screen and in front and on stage as well. We'll see if I think I have the chops for it or if like I don't know. I'm just trying to not write about the same perspective every time. Like I started off writing a bunch of perspectives from like my life because I think some of my stuff I've lived through is interesting. But also it's kind of been seen before. I want to write about people that haven't like seen themselves on screen, but I also feel like I can't do that because I don't know what it's like. So I really want to collaborate with people, but it's also hard because people are just annoying.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that concept of diversifying the characters you write and stuff it's tricky because of course like you don't want to like come off like a know-it-all or like um I don't know how to say it, like the classic like white person writing about I don't know, an Asian person and it turns into a stereotype. Like you don't
Hmm.
want to be that, but also it's like people don't want to collab.
I know. Yeah. It's tough sometimes. I mean, because I think there's something great about like the human experience that we can all relate to one another. But
Mhm.
it's also tricky with writing about things you honestly have no idea anything about. Like you can see TV shows and movies like the limited that they probably are, and they're all stereotypical. And you have to really do the research, which is crazy because I'm trying to write this scene based off like lisp and stuttering. I have a lisp, but I have friends that stutter, so it's like hard to like reach out being like, hey, can you just talk to me about all your insecurities and writing a script for it? Like it's just hard to do the research yourself if you do want to write from a place that's not your own. Because I think the only way you could do it without doing that is writing from a fake place. Like, I haven't experienced many things that other people have. So either I can
Yeah,
like
but then
fake it.
that comes off like unauthentic. Like I've seen stuff where you can tell that the writers have no clue about the people they're writing about even. And
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
the tough thing is that those still get made.
yeah, it's
And
like,
that's annoying.
yeah. Wait, hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Kind of just moving on a little bit to the actual topic that we have now. So I think the thumbnail says that you ended a relationship because of quarantine. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship that you were in?
So yes, that was an interesting relationship. I got into the relationship in October of last year, and it ended in the end of July this year.
Mhm.
So that was interesting. Um, I would say a lot of self discovery and a lot of maturing and a lot of learning from that.
Okay, well, what did you learn?
Well, so I learned stuff about myself that I didn't know before, some stuff that was confusing me. I learned about people, and I feel like I really learned to be empathetic because the person I was in a relationship with had a lot of traumas, and I feel like just talking to them about the stuff they went through made made me gain perspective and made me less self-centered. So
That's good. So who broke up with who? If you don't mind me asking. If you want to maybe go more into the relationship a little bit if you want. But yeah, kind of who broke up with who? And like why?
we broke up because okay, well actually, she broke. What? How did it was mutual actually? Because it was just awkward, and at this point, we knew it wasn't going to work out, and we it was very toxic. Um, and I wanted to end things, but also she heavily relied on me for her happiness. She's one of the people that were like, "I'm gonna kill myself if you leave me." Like, and I was like, "Great, what the fuck do I do now?"
Yeah, I don't like those people. Good
So
thing you that's good. You guys are done.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a huge red flag. No, 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 no.
yeah, I should have. I need to listen to the red flags.
Mhm. Yeah. Maybe you're colorblind. Maybe you just can't see the color red.
I feel like those red flags make. I feel like as an actor, and we're already empathetic, so I feel like those red flags just make the person more human.
Yes. And like at the end of the day, I am trying to be a comedian, kind of, not really. But
Yeah.
like it kind of just gives you a story too. Like you're like, oh, I don't know where this is gonna lead me. Let's keep going. Cause like as an actor, I think you're also kind of like an audience member, as in kind of like figuring out like, ooh, what's gonna happen next.
Mhm.
Kind of being passive in that sense.
I
So
agree. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I feel like oh, this is so bad. When we were like going through hard times, it's like, man, this would be great to prep like for anger, like sadness, heartbreak. This is perfect. Like
That's good
Kendall
though.
Strasberg has brainwashed me.
Yeah. I'm trying to get more into that. Like I was trying to do a sense memory today in the shower because I'm today is Sunday, October 11th. Happy National Coming Out Day as well to people.
Yes.
Um so Jeff, our acting coach, he does the adult as well. I moved up. I'm an adult now. I'm in the old I'm old.
Old woman. Get
Yeah.
up there, Athena.
Oh gosh. But we do like sense memory, and he told me like this week I'm gonna have to take a shower in front of the class, obviously clothed on. You know, if you don't know what acting, like obviously know what acting is, but like we don't actually like do the physical thing. Like if I'm drinking something, I don't actually take what I'm actually drinking and drink it.
This is a drink.
Yeah.
Just take a
um.
drink.
Yeah. Tastes good, huh?
Yeah, amazing.
Mm.
Awesome.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, take some. Great.
Thanks.
Don't choke on it there, Athena.
I didn't drink that much. It's fine. Yeah, I think it's so interesting on Zoom doing that type of stuff because, like, in on stage, you don't feel like an idiot, but you don't. Like, you really don't. You feel like, oh yeah, this is all normal. It's
Yeah.
kind of like creating a new world. Like in acting, you really have to create your own world, and kind of the stuff around you helps you. And if there's nothing on stage, it's all up to you, which is good and bad. I think it's good because like I can just look at the ground and say, oh look, there's a chicken. But if I'm in my room and I see like a box, I'm thinking, oh God, I gotta clean that up. You
Yeah,
know, you're just constantly overthinking when you're in your own space because you're not used to making it a performance space.
exactly. I feel like that's one thing I had to learn how to do when I started acting on Zoom is to differentiate like, okay, this is my sleeping space, this is my relaxing space, and this is now I'm acting, I'm having a mental breakdown. And it was hard to do because I'm like, I want to relax here. I don't want to cry here.
Yeah, because at home, I'm pretty chill. Like, home is normally my resting space where, like, I don't know if I'm an introvert or an extrovert. I think I'm kind of an ambivert. I'm not sure what it's called. Kind of just both. I don't think you need to necessarily like pick a side. I just think sometimes it depends. I think with social situations it differs. If I'm with the people I don't know, I'm an introvert. But if I'm with like acting people or like my close friends, I won't shut up. But you know,
Yeah, I feel like for you, like my first impression of you was that you were an introvert,
mhm.
but I feel like when you get to know you, like you come off more extroverted. I feel like
Yeah,
you're the type of person that enjoys people, but you enjoy the people that you click with, you know?
yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's my impression.
You were always kind of extroverted to me, which is, yeah, which is awesome. But I think everyone kind of young actors like found their place, you know,
It's
in
home there.
acting.
Feels like home.
Yeah.
Like it's such a safe space and the people there are amazing and you really connect with this group of young people, and it feels like a little family.
I really miss it. Oh my god.
This is
Oh gosh.
I know.
Yeah. Kind of at home, you don't really like at home is normally I'm normally always out. Normally, I keep saying the word normally, but it's not normal anymore. But I would normally oh my god, I keep saying the word. I would only be at home like 12 to 6
Wait, can
a.m.
you repeat that?
Yeah, sorry. I was only at home like 12 to 6 a.m. Like usually, like I would get
Um,
home around 11, leave at like 5, 6, sometimes go to school or just go do something else. So I would never really come home until like my day was over and it was
Yeah.
time to relax and just be by myself. It was
Mhm.
my alone time. But now sitting here, I'm like never really alone. You're always in Zoom meetings and stuff, especially in acting. Like you just want to be like, oh, thank God I had a long day. But now it's like, no, your day's not over. Keep going. And like it's a it feels like it's been so long, even though you're sitting right here. You haven't really done much, really. You've been staring at a screen
And
all
I feel
day.
like it's so like time goes by slower on Zoom.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, differentiating like this is where I do school, this is where I do acting, this is where I sleep. Well, actually, I'm in my like brother's room, which is our office right now, so I don't sleep here. But it sucks. I'm at that point of quarantine where. Well, can you hear my cousin yelling in the
A little
background?
bit. It's fine.
All right. Yeah, I'm at that point of quarantine where I'm just really sick of Zoom and staring at a screen all day.
Yeah. I think we kind of shifted topics. Do you want to mention anything about the person that you were dating? Kind
Oh
of like
God.
what you learned. Sorry.
So I learned first of all that I'm not gay. God, I'm sorry. I'm literally one of those straight girls, but I'm sorry, guys. I also
Okay.
learned that to communicate better. Um, I learned to know my worth and know what I will and will not accept. I learned that people will treat you exactly how they feel about you.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
People will, yes, I'm gonna say it again. People will treat you exactly how they feel about you.
Yes.
Like, I feel like so many times we get caught up in what the thought of people and
Mm,
the image we created in our head about them. But when you take a step back and you really just think, how is this person making me feel really? Then you realize that like they're not fulfilling you and they're not adding to your life or to your happiness, then you need to let them go. Like,
thank you, Kendall. That really helps. Wow.
Athena, do you need
Wow.
to drop some people? You need to
Yeah.
drop some people from your life?
I did drop some people and I thought they wow. There's this one person who I was really loved the idea of and kind of centered my whole entire life around them, kind of. Maybe not like that crazily, but it was kind of insane if you think
Mhm.
about it. I kind of still talk about them, but like not as much because I've tried to get over them. And I think really the space and quarantine has really helped. We didn't go to the same college, which helped. So that kind of worked out. And you're right, people do treat you the way they feel about you. Because this person would like never respond to me, never really like, and not really acknowledge I was there. But like I was just thinking like, oh, they're just doing that to make me jealous. But like, why would they do that? Like that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Like, why would they want to make you feel like shit?
Yeah,
You
it's not
know?
meant to be. Oh my god. But you know what's good about that person? They did inspire me to write a bunch of stuff. So that's good. At least as a writer, you can become friends with someone and you get so much material out of it. I bet like a show I write and that character is going to be so iconic. It's going to be because of them. And they will have probably some ideas. But like,
Crazy as artists how much we take bad experiences from our life and we're like, I can use this. I can use it for my
yeah,
art. Like, what the fuck is wrong with us?
I know. Oh my god, a lot of the stuff I write is based loosely off people. And this person is like loosely based like the real life person based off like 10 people like have spewed from just her, which is
Wow.
great. It's great because a lot of some of them are kind. I mean, there's different aspects to every person,
Mm.
and I think every character also needs to be complex. But I was watching Boys in the Band, the like exclusive thing, or I forgot what it's called, like the 20-minute thing on Netflix. And the writer who wrote Boys in the Band's a play. It's about all gay men, and it's a movie that got made. It was a play. It was a play back in the 50s or 60s. I forgot. Maybe 70s. I don't. 68, I think. 1 year off 69. I think that was it because I remembered it was 1 year off 69.
Mhm.
It was a play then, and it was a play back in 2018. Now it's a movie. Um, but he wrote it about actual people he knew, the writer.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, because he also wrote this one character named Howard. I'm pretty sure after his friend named Howard, and that he was like infatuated with him to the point where like just like a friend way. I think, you know, like those people that are kind of just cool, too cool, and they're mysterious.
Yeah.
He wrote like stuff based off what he thought he would do, and that's kind of like what I'm trying to do too as well.
Mhm.
And just the idea of people can sometimes be cooler than what they actually are, and you can play with that.
You know, that's actually really interesting to hear because I agree so much. I feel like when we're missing something from our life internally, like we kind of overcompensate in creating this image of someone that we become infatuated with in order to fulfill us. But then after a while, that image runs out and they really expose who they are. And then that goes like that. And you're like, wow, I hate this person, but I've been with them for 7 months. Like,
Is that what happened to you with your relationship?
in a way, yeah. And I feel like that also has happened to me with friendships.
Yes.
And yeah, I feel like people are interesting.
Hmm. What's been a really weird thing to think about is people grow apart, like obviously, but I think with my family just tells me stories of these friends that they used to had, and I always think like, what happened if you had such a great time with? When I was younger, I used to think because I went to a really small pre-K to eighth grade, like same 17 people I've known for like years. So
Mm,
when I was really young, like fourth grade or whatever, I used to be like, well, how come you guys aren't still friends? I'm still friends with my friends from like 5 years ago. Why aren't you guys friends still? Like if you said this is a lifelong friend, you're not friends anymore. Why are you telling me the story of someone that you once knew?
mm,
And I think back then it was really hard and also easy to understand that when people grow older, friends just don't keep in contact anymore. But it's kind of been a harder and harder thing for me to kind of think about because I've grown apart with many friends. Then I think about them months later and I think, oh, I can't text them. We didn't really have a good falling out. Or is it weird that I'm thinking about them? Like, I
mhm,
guess when friends, when like back in the day, when people thought of other people, the only thing they could do was maybe call them or even email, or not email them, send them a letter. But like now, I can legit, like if I'm thinking of someone that I haven't talked to for years, I could just message them. And
mhm.
I'm gonna be out of the blue, but it could still, like we could spark a conversation. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's bad. Especially if you're still like thinking of the image that they once were to you when they're in fact not that person. It can kind of not be good mentally.
I agree. And I feel like so often, especially during adolescent years, it's also common to just grow what's the word? Grow out of people. Like when you move past people in like I don't know, in like a emotional way. Like I feel like I've definitely emotionally matured a lot, and I feel like some friendships I've grown out of. Oh God, this is gonna sound cocky because they weren't at the same level emotionally.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? A
Yeah.
little bit.
No, yeah,
Oh
I
God, I don't
think
want to come off
no, I think you're good.
like yeah. And I don't know. I feel like relationships come in your life for a reason, and sometimes it's for a season or a time, and that's okay. Not everything has to be so permanent and official. Like this is my friend for life. You never know
Yeah,
what can happen.
I think that's a big thing that we're like, oh, best friends forever. No, it's not. Like friends, I think any relationship is as complex as you are. You got to treat it like that. Like relationships are obviously complex, and there's a quote. I'm trying to go back to Daniel Sloss, but his stand-up special. Watch it if you're in a relationship. His special has broken up thousands of people, and he says the first few months of any relationship. I don't know the exact quote because I forgot. Um, it's on Netflix called Jigsaw. Watch all of his specials. Just go check him out. He talked about relationships and how in the beginning, if you truly love someone, it should be easy. Or you don't truly know you love someone unless you, for number one, love yourself,
Mhm.
100%, or as much as you can. So if I love myself, let's say 20%, right? Would say this other person loves me 30%. I think, wow, that's so much compared to how much I love myself. But that's not even half. So you really got to build up your self-love before you can even love anyone else. And same thing with friendships as well. I know his special is really good. And then also kind of just to take piggybacking of what he says and kind of what I just said. Um, Everyone's building their own jigsaw puzzle. You're not building one together. You're building your own. And when you with someone, even if friends, if they're not adding to your puzzle piece, and if they're actively just trying to destroy yours, walk away. It's not worth your time.
I'll let them go.
Yeah.
Self-love in relationships is, I feel like, the most important thing when you're going into one, because if you don't love yourself, external val you can get the most external validation in the world, but if you don't love yourself, it'll literally mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you won't believe it, because you don't feel that about yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And what's interesting is some people can be codependent. And there's a book by Whitney Cummings called I'm Fine in Other Lives, and she talks about it. And that's legit when people just are kind of like leeches sometimes. I mean, depends on what type of codependency or whatever, but people can sometimes just be trying to suck everything out of you for their own benefit. I mean, that's not exactly what codependency is, but it just she kind of mentions how that was. So yeah, go check that out. I'm trying to give like real recommendations, but yeah, I don't know. Anything you want to say about your relationship?
Um, no, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of anything I'd like to say. Um, just know your worth, guys.
Yeah.
Know your worth and know what you will and won't tolerate.
Yeah.
Because I tolerated a lot of shit that I shouldn't have tolerated. Not gonna lie.
One question I do kind of have. So, do you think that it was because of the quarantine that you guys broke up, like, or do you think that was already going to happen even if there wasn't any quarantine?
Quarantine definitely escalated the tension, but I think that even if we weren't in quarantine, we would have broken up for a couple reasons. So it's just kind of like it was bound to happen. Quarantine just made it happen quicker.
I find that true with a bunch of people breaking up right now.
Mm.
Or
Yeah, man, breakups are hard.
yeah.
Hard.
All right. I don't know. I have never been in a relationship.
Well, get a relationship soon, Athena. Just take my advice.
Oh God.
And all those relationship specialists, because I feel like there's a lot of wise people out there.
Yeah, I feel like just saying like F you to all of them isn't really the best thing to do, so
Mm.
I don't know. The person I'm with is gonna be reading some books and watching some stand-up specials that are kind of just TED Talks in disguise about love and just love, self-love, friendship, whatever. Yeah. All right. Let's kind of switch gears. I just do have one quote. I do have to I'm not obligated to mention these two people, but I really love Rosebud Baker and Whitney Cummings. They're two comics. I really love comics. And also Daniel Sloss is a comic. I'm really a big fan of comedy. So there's one good quote from Rosebud Baker that I think everyone should remember when having a fight or even like you're in your feelings. You can have your feelings without being them. And I think that's a really good quote. Doesn't really tie into what I was saying, but I tried to maybe make it connect to it. But I think that's a really good quote because I tend to, in quarantine, I think you can just get pissed off with a lot of people being like, we're all going to die. It's, kind of just like, I think that's a bad quote. It's a Vanessa Hudgens quote, but, life is so uncertain. Like everything's kind of just up in the air right now. And you're being mad about some random thing, like read receipts, whatever they're called. It's
That's a
just stupid.
minuscule problem, man.
I know.
Like, not that big of a deal. Yeah, but go ahead, finish what you were saying.
Yeah, I just think that if you're having a bad day, doesn't mean you have to like spread badness. You can just have the feelings and try to just keep it in. I feel like that's bad because the society tells us that you can't be feeling anything.
Yeah.
But also, if all you're going to do is cause more harm because of one little small thing, just try to keep it in and make yourself feel better. I don't know. I think you can just, if I'm having a bad day, it can really ruin other people's days as well. Like
Yeah.
if I stub my toe and then I go up to you and pull your finger and make you hurt, that's not going to
Okay.
benefit any one of us. I just got
Yeah.
to deal with the pain by myself. It's going to go away eventually. I mean, it depends on the type of pain. If I'm bleeding out, probably not. Like if someone's really dealing with something serious. But if it's something small and minuscule that you need to work on your own stuff, just you can have your feelings without being them.
Well, that's interesting. I feel like I agree. It's okay to feel a certain way, but I feel like when it becomes, I guess, annoying is when all you're spreading is that negative energy. Like I've
Yes.
had bad days, but when I have bad days, I don't purposely go around and tell people about how shitty my life is, or like, gosh, that comes off kind of asshole like. But I
No,
feel
I
like
get it.
I don't want to make people feel bad about themselves or about life, so I try to not put out negative energy.
Yes. I just kind of always got to mention Whitney Cummings and Rosebud Baker. I really want them to be in the podcast, so maybe
Yeah,
I would just mention it and just manifest it. It'll happen.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully Wednesday.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say I have to pee.
Wait, we're almost done. Legit, only 5 minutes because
Okay, 5 minutes, Athena.
I have 5 questions. Yeah, 5:15. Okay. So I got an email. Email the podcast. I didn't really mention this at all, but email the podcast. If you're still listening to this, you are contractually obligated to email the podcast. It's at athenarethispodcasts@gmail.com. It's also in the description. I didn't mention it at all because I hate selling out. Because I feel like if you ask people to do something and they genuinely like your content, they will do something.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you overplug it, they're not going to do it. So that's why I've been taking like a different approach every single time. Either overplug it or never plug it at all. So, all right, check out an email from my friend Matthew Flores, aka Derek. Okay. Title says, I've never been to Chili's. Greetings, snot monsters. It's me, the Hamburglar, back at it again with some new questions for you and your podcast guests this week. Did you know that if you're riding a canoe in the water and you tip it over, you're more likely to be doused in water? That's right. I'm not only your biggest fan, but I'm also a scientific genius. Let's get on to the questions. He's just like my friend that emails me every week. I ask him to do it and I want him to like trip us all out. So at the end, normally supposed to be like relaxed. And this is trying to just see like your true self at the end, see if you're lying the whole time. But also just like funny questions. Okay, for your guest, have you watched the best episode of the podcast yet? The one featuring Derek, aka Matthew? If so, what is your favorite thing about him? If not, why didn't you?
Oh my god, I haven't watched it. I will watch it and I'll text you and let you know.
Okay, good. You've only watched the Jackie one, haven't you?
Yeah, I liked the question. That was a good one. I know, I love Jackie. Gosh, Jackie, I love
Me
you. If
too.
you're
Me
watching
too. Love you,
this,
Jackie. Okay. Are you dressing up for Halloween this year? If yes, why are you planning? What are you planning on dressing up as?
so I always have to dress up because you know it's my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So like I
I
feel
forgot to mention, yeah, Kendall, your birthday's on Halloween. That's crazy. Everyone, come back on Halloween and comment happy birthday,
I know,
Kendall.
right? But I don't know what I'm gonna be this year. I'm juggling a couple options. My friend and I were gonna be like the Cheerios from Glee, or like um,
Yes.
one of my friends wanted to be like Sharon Dion from Clueless. I'm like, yeah, people tell me I look like her when I have a bucket hat on. I'm like, thanks. Like, but yeah, I'm juggling a couple options.
It's cool. I don't really know what I'm gonna be. My friend Matthew, the one who emailed me, he wants to be Shark Boy, and I was like, okay, then I'll be Lava Girl. But like, I
Oh,
haven't started working towards that at all, and I'm not sure if he has either. So I don't know.
get a pink
Or
wig.
what?
Get a pink wig.
I think that's all I gotta do. I don't know.
I know, right?
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. I might just not do anything. I think Halloween will be. I don't know. What day is that even? Sorry, you would know. What?
October
No,
31st,
but like, what is it? Like a Saturday or something?
Saturday.
Oh my god, I was right. Wow, I knew it, but I didn't for sure
It's
know it.
That would be my good job.
That's cool. Okay, I might be sleeping all day. I kind of need to. Okay. Number 3. I believe in the power of the Illinois gigantic squid monster. If Netflix were to make a movie based up on your life, who would play you?
Myself. I'm an actor. I would play myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Then I overthought it too much. So then I was thinking of some like actual actors. I don't really necessarily consider myself the actor. I don't know. That sounds kind of degrading, but I would probably want some like theater actor to play me who's not that well known, who would like blow up. Well, Lilla Crawford, I think that's her name. She's Little Red Riding Hood in the Into the Woods movie. She was also Annie. She's great. She's around my same age. I think she could do a great job with me. Or me. I think I could do a great job with me. I think I know me.
Amazing.
I'm not sure my movie would be really interesting. Okay. What would be your first words when you land on the moon?
I'll be like, what the fuck is going on?
I would probably say hell yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. What world record would you want to hold? It's a really tough question.
Something with acting. Probably like outstanding actress. I don't know.
I want to do something really stupid. Like probably the longest frisbee throw ever. Just something really stupid that I can put in my bio and people will be like, whoa. People will be like, huh, interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Something stupid. I don't know.
Yeah. I love that.
Just to like put in my bio and be like,
I could throw a mean frisbee. Like,
yeah. People be like, oh, I don't want to mess with you.
Flags. Like,
I know. Yeah, exactly. All right. Last little thing, quote. And if you do try your hardest, it doesn't mean it's the best. Love, Hubert. Love that. Thank you, Matthew, for emailing the podcast. If you don't want him to keep emailing the podcast, this is your least favorite part of the podcast, email me then. Do something about it. You have a chance. Email me, guys. It's only Matthew. Actually, I got one email, but that was something else. That was for school. So, email me, athenarethispodcasts@gmail.com. It's in the description. Because I'm pretty sure y'all don't want to hear a bunch of letters. Okay, Kendall, thank you for coming. This has been it for the Quarantine Podcast, episode 12.
Thank you for having me so much. Thank you.
Of course. Kendall, hope you have a great day. Hope everyone here has a great day, great night, great whatever.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.